11 points out of a possible 24 in their last 8 away games, 4 defeats in 2025 when they had none domestically across 2024. The wheels are coming off Berenda's bus, but they're the only horse in the race. Welcome back to Fog Football. It's Fans React to St Johnston 1, Celtic 0. And it's also SOS 90 time to react because you weren't in the match review. What do you make of this? Defeat in Perth. St Johnston, they needed to win. They rallied the troops and they went, we're winning.
There's definitely a Brenda driving this bus because this bus it's going in the wrong direction, man. This bus is going to, I know they don't run on rails, but fuck it, it's going to get derailed because this Celtic form it's worrying. See Celtic's domestic form in 2025, it's not great. And obviously it doesn't matter because the league's already won. And they're far better than anyone else who's still left in the Scottish Cup. So I do expect Celtic to go on and get a treble. However, if they were in a title fight, if they were against a good Rangers team, if there was teams in the Scottish Cup actually playing well and looking capable of turning up and putting in big performances and potentially knocking at Celtic, then you would be worried with what you're seeing. Celtic have done well to get themselves in this position, absolutely. And maybe it's a bit of complacency, I don't know. Maybe it's because they're so far ahead, but...
It could be complacency, but...
It's not great.
Ever since the Bayern game, they went out, I think mentally that took a lot out of them. And, do I blame them for chucking it? No, because, the league has been wrapped up. Brendan Rodgers has said it's unacceptable and they need to sort it out. But reality is, when you're 13, 15, whatever, there's been 16 points clear, you're naturally going to take the foot off the pedal, when you go.
It's actually weird. Normally, the gap between Celtic and Rangers, but the form's been that bad, and both teams have been dropping points so often that it's actually. Well, I don't know. Maybe you're different. Maybe you're keeping an eye on it constantly, but I couldn't even tell you what the points gap is.
13.
So 13, right?
No, but you're right. I feel like
we know that normally the old
it's
form,
been between 9 and 19.
But normally they're always winning, so you're just used to it being the same points. Well, they won, so it's back to being this. But because the form's been at the window for both teams, and both teams have been losing, both teams have been drawing, the gap is constantly changing up.
It is changing up.
I don't think many people seen this coming today. However, we did say yesterday that Dundee, Kilmarnock both won at home, and that just put a hell of a lot more pressure on St Johnston to win this game. Did I think that meant they were going to win this game? No, I didn't. I mean, I don't think it's the biggest shock I've ever seen.
No.
But I did actually think that Celtic would win in Perth here. But St Johnston, to their credit, have turned things around a little bit. Are they in a similar boat to Airdrie where they've left it a little bit too late? I mean, maybe. But it's a good win for them. So, we'll see.
No, we will see, but I think Rodgers, the current form they're in, right? If they were in a title race with Rangers and they then went into this run of form, I think questions would be getting asked to Rodgers. It's sackable form. 11 points out of 24 is shocking, really. It is. I mean, you're picking up less than half the points.
Well, I mean...
It's just they've got so much of a buffer, no one's going to talk about that.
It's like last season when Celtic began to drop points, the fans were going mental, but that's because Rangers were putting together a really good run under Clement.
Yep.
Celtic have again.
What's a good run?
They've had a bad spell this in 2025, but the fans aren't as up in arms because they know they ain't being caught.
Only problem is,
hold on, they did have a good run of form last year.
Who?
Rangers under Clement. You said that as if I was taking the piss.
No, I said it like what's a good run, as in fuck that's donkey. That's donkeys ago.
It was last year, mate.
Last year may as well be 10 years ago, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. But St Johnston, they'll take a lot from this. If they turn up like this at Hampden, they might have a chance.
See if Rangers' form could have picked up, and we will get into the fans' reaction in a minute, but see once Rangers beat Celtic 3-0, was that on, was it January 2nd?
January 2nd, aye.
They won that Celtic game, but I'm pretty sure the two games either side, they didn't pick up any wins.
4 games either side, they fucking didn't pick up any wins.
No, 2 games either side would be 4.
Well, that's my point, yeah.
Alright, so 2 games either side.
Aye, a draw against Dundee, a draw against Hibs, defeat against St Mirren, and draw against Motherwell.
I know it's all saying ifs, but see if they had won those 4 games.
No, but forget about those 4 games.
No,
right?
but see if they had won those 4 games. Look how closer they would have been to Celtic, and B, if Celtic are beginning to drop form a little bit, like what would have happened if the pressure was on them? Maybe Celtic's form wouldn't have got as bad, or maybe it would have got worse. You'll never know, but
listen to this.
It is embarrassing that Rangers have won the last 2 league Old Firm games and are fucking nowhere near them.
They're nowhere. But yeah, what I was going to say there about Rangers, I mean, they've lost how many games in a row now? At Ibrox, 3 games in the league in a row at Ibrox, right? And I know it's if buts, but even if you take away,
That 1 Europe and 1 in the Cup?
Aye, so that's the 5. Even if you take away just 2 of those league defeats, right, and make them wins, the gap's 7 points, and you have to play at Celtic once again. Get it to 4. You know what I mean? But Rangers have only got themselves to blame. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm not happy that Celtic got beat today, but part of me's more pissed off because it's like
what could have been.
It's like, what the fuck are Rangers doing? I mean, see if that prick of a captain and fucking Dessers and Butland don't wake up today and turn around and then see this result and go, holy fuck, man, we've dropped the ball. Then they shouldn't be at the club. Well, they shouldn't be at the club anyway, but they don't care, man. They're getting their thousands a week anyway.
Anyway, Celtic fans care, so let's see how they reacted to today's 1-0 defeat in Perth. Well, I've said Celtic fans, we have no Celtic fan here, and I mean, we do call it Celtic fans for being obsessed. I mean, this looks like a wee bit of obsession here. All the comments are for Rangers men with Union Jacks.
Red fan loyal, losing to the bottom of the league, embarrassing.
I don't think St Johnston are the worst team in the league right now.
Who's that then? Rangers?
Fucking might be. No, I think St Johnston are alright at the moment. I think they've picked up form a wee bit.
Who would I say is the worst team in the league?
It was probably Kelly, I think, even though they won yesterday.
Kelly and Dundee, but they've both picked up a wee bit.
Yeah, but I mean, Kelly beat a 10.
What about Hearts, in the conversation?
Could be Hearts, actually. We'll talk more about them later. Fuck Beale says, that, right, okay. Alfie West, I've seen better players on a pub team, one of the worst Celtic teams in years.
Yo, it might be one of the worst Celtic team in years. You might hold that opinion. What's that say about Rangers?
Yeah.
No, I'll stand by
listen,
it, like...
I do. I've always said, right, yeah, Celtic may have some individuals right now who I think would get into Ange Postecoglou's, prime team. But I've always said that, that's Brendan Rodgers now, been back almost 2 full seasons. Ange was there 2 full seasons. I do think that Ange's team is better than Rodgers.
See the Gio Beale team of 22-23. I think it's safe to say their points total must be pretty close to the Celtic points total. I know it's not 13 points behind, put it that way, at this stage of the season compared to then. And I think the decline of Rangers, which, losing heaps of players on free agents, and I think Rodgers just... honestly, I just think Ange is a better manager than Rodgers, and we can debate that all we want, but Celtic don't have a fear factor around them. They don't.
But
I don't know. Under Ange, every game was a scudding.
I think that may be a bit unfair on Rodgers, but I'll say he was I think he was better. I think Ange's 2 years at Celtic has been better than Rodgers' last 2 years at Celtic.
Yeah, well, that's what,
I'm not going to say overall in their careers that Ange is a better manager than Celtic. I don't think that's necessarily true, but he hasn't really proven it yet,
I agree.
See in 5 years' time when he wins Tottenham Cups and he's in the Champions League again, and I think that Ange has got potential, but it would be a bit unfair, I think, right now to call... If you're ranking them in the all-time managerial list, I think it'd be a bit unfair to put Ange above Brendan Rodgers.
No, it would be, but
I do think that Ange's 2 years at Celtic was better than Rodgers' current 2 years.
No, that's what I'm talking. I'm talking about this current run of Rodgers. Obviously, back in the 2010s, like it was a million years ago, but the 2010s, brother. Obviously, that puts Rodgers above Ange. But for me, I'm talking about the last 5 years. I just think the Ange team was better than the Rodgers team. I mean, I was going into games at Parkhead thinking we're going to get beat 4-0 here, and we did. So it is what it is.
Even this in 2025, Celtic smashing teams domestically, it's dried up a bit.
Yeah, they were winning games. You're beat St Johnston 6-0 back in November, I think.
Yeah, you're used to maybe Celtic winning 6-0 and then maybe a 2-0 followed by another 4-0, 5-1, something like that. I mean, even the wins, they don't seem to be as dominant as they once were. The boys page says now our title party will be a week later than we anticipated. He's upset. Listen, I don't expect any Celtic fans to be crying or throwing the toys at the pram, but I think that it's worrying signs potentially for next season.
No, it could be. I mean, I think a lot of Celtic fans have hinted at the fact that there can used to be a rebuild, and I think a lot of players at Celtic, you could say, have hit the end of their life, and I think the correct way about it is to refresh. You know, we've seen under Gerrard, Rangers didn't refresh, and look at the state of what happened to that team. I mean, who would I move on from Celtic? I think the likes of Rio Atati, I think he's run his course. A lot of people have turned on him. I mean, we can look at Adam Adea. We all love looking at Adam Adea, don't we? He's not the same guy he was last season, absolutely not. Arnie Engels, he'll be there for a few years, but reality is, Cal McGregor can't keep on playing. Greg Taylor's away. Jeffrey Schlupp was absolutely bogging the day. Nicholas Kuhn also got hooked at half time. His form's completely dried up.
Never a £40 million player.
Who?
Nicholas Kuhn. And to his credit,
He was
right?
unplayable.
Yeah, he was unplayable for. But I think we see players have unplayable periods, and I see. For you to be in Scotland, for you to be getting talky a transfer for 40 million, I think you need to be performing at a high level for multiple seasons. And Kuhn just, did not do that. Unlike Matt O'Reilly, unlike Jota, who I think did perform more or less over the entire. Now, yes, Matt O'Reilly obviously had a standout season, and that standout season was far superior to what he'd done previous. But I still think he was good, for his entire Celtic run, and then had a great season. Jota probably was more. Maybe if Jota didn't hit a peak like O'Reilly did, but he was probably better than O'Reilly before the O'Reilly standout season. But we couldn't bang out, and I know people say he had illness and all that stuff, but I mean, I wasn't going to say bang average. That's a lie. He was shite. He was.
What did he have? Wisdom teeth or something?
I don't know. But anyway, point is, as good as he was, that form has dropped off. At that point, he used to be like the first name on a Celtic team sheet. See now, it's like see if he was missing a big game for injury. I think you need to look at it. And the guy that you cannot afford to lose, Dyson Maeda.
Yeah, I mean,
like an afterthought.
If Adam Adea was actually any good, he'd be playing through the middle, and you would be probably playing Jota and Maeda either side now, because Kuhn has dropped behind them too, in my personal opinion. But anyway, we'll move on. The boys' page says our title party will be a week later than we anticipated.
And I've already read that.
Oh, so, you have? Well,
Barry Souness.
Like a sieve.
Barry Souness. Fucking Rangers points are like a sieve. It just keeps fucking 7 away.
How's your European football next year?
Seeing we beat Celtic win the Scottish Cup, I'll be actually alright because we're guaranteed group
Well,
stage.
I tell you what, that's Hearts' fucking last hurrah.
Time to.
There's no excuses.
No excuses left. Barry Souness says most embarrassing football result in Scottish football this season. 75 million spent.
Oh, Barry.
To get destroyed by the team root at bottom of the table. Crispy Lips is a fraud. Right, let's just call this out, man. Bullshit. We all know the most embarrassing result, not just this season, but the most embarrassing result in Scottish football for a long, long time. Some people would argue ever. I wouldn't go that far. I think there's been some worse, but it's Rangers Queen's Park, man. It's not Celtic against a. See if you look at the form over the last 10 games. I'd be convinced that Johnston aren't bottom.
I don't think they'll be bottom either. But reality is, this guy's just put his line out. A bit of bait on the end of it, and there's going to be a lot of people. Oh, I mean, maybe Barry.
He's fishing. He's fishing.
Yeah, he's fishing, man. And I mean, where is he fishing? Who knows? Well, he's fishing in the right fucking place under a Celtic post. West Ham, man, he finds it funny. Why does he find this funny?
Made a meal of that. Made a meal of that. Only yourselves to blame, lads. Must improve for the treble. Baldy Barry losing to the bottom of the league. My club could never. Because they're too busy losing to teams not even in the league. Cantona, yesterday, Rangers today, both Celtic sold their matches to betting sites. These teams will sell everything.
Wait. Fucking say that again? Cantona.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
Cantona, come on. What
Cantona, big Cantona. Yesterday, Rangers, today, Celtic both sold their matches to the betting sites. These teams will sell everything for money. Thoughts on that?
I mean, maybe Rangers would, but why would Celtic?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if that many people bets on St Johnston, to be honest. Roman Catolico says, fucking embarrassing performance. Tommy, I did say it was a good day for it, but I didn't mean that. Connor, that might be the worst performance I've ever watched. How McGregor lasted 95 minutes, I'll never know. Offered absolutely fuck all while Bernardo sits on the bench. Thomas, first half didn't turn up. Second, slightly better. However, choice making for the chances were terrible, especially Hatate. Just had to pick the spot under no pressure and ballooned it twice. Fisher in goal also had the game of his career, and the St Johnston team held on well.
Fisher had a good game. Hatate was mince. I mean, I think that's a fair feedback on the game there.
If Fisher though had the game of his career, then was Celtic really that bad? Because they must have been good if the goalkeeper had to have the game of his career.
He was good. He dealt with crosses and things like that. I don't think he made any outstanding saves. I mean, Celtic could have scored a few goals, but I would say the defending from St Johnston was better than his goalkeeping.
Sean says, I tell you, thank fuck, the Rangers are shite.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know that. There's Triple H with a water pistol.
G-Boy says their keeper was outstanding.
Unbelievable.
AJ unbelievable. Gaza West says poor, very poor. Not too good for Celtic, and I think that's what we'll end it there, guys. Fans that aren't too... I mean, they're not happy, but how upset can you be? You're still going to win the league and probably win the cup as well. I know a treble inbound. I know a good financial year, money in the bank from the Champions League, and you've got some top sellable assets. I mean, Dyson Maeda really, I think, could break the Scottish transfer record in the summer, so it's looking pretty good.
I think what was crucial for Celtic is they put Hibs at the cup. I think if they were taking on Hibs at Hampden, you'd be worried.
That was probably unfortunately for Hibs, it's probably the worst game we've seen them play over this run.
Yeah,
they just didn't really show up against Celtic,
which is fine considering. I mean, I say it's fine. It's like the league for Hibs is they're going to probably guarantee themselves third at the end of the day, and it's weird because yeah, you win it to Celtic, but if Celtic win the cup, it's almost like you did yourself a favour back in February because you're getting the third place in the European football. And here, I welcome Hibs in the...
But anyway, we'll see how Celtic go on semi-final, rematch against St Johnston, so it should be interesting.
It should be, guys. Anyway, till then, till that weekend, week's away, till then, peace.